Welcome back. So, I'm going to ask you an uncomfortable question today, and I want you just to sit with it. How much power does your boss have over your life? Not at work, your life. Your boss is supposed to manage your work, right? But somewhere along the way, we've created a system where another human being can have an extraordinarily huge amount of influence over how we actually live. Want to take a vacation? You got to ask permission. Need a mental health day? Got to ask permission. Family emergency? Explain yourself. Doctor's appointment? Show me proof. Want to spend 3 weeks visiting another country? Good luck with that. And if your boss is understanding, flexible, and treats people well, wonderful. But what happens when they don't? What happens when the person standing between you and your paycheck doesn't particularly care about your life or what happens in it? That's where things get interesting. But you say, I need this job. Maybe you've had this conversation with yourself before. Your boss says something disrespectful and you want to respond, but then your brain whispers, mortgage. They deny the vacation you've been planning for half a year and you want to push back, but your brain says, health insurance. They pile more work onto you without increasing your pay. You know it's unreasonable and you know it's not fair, but here comes that little voice. You need this job. And suddenly, your financial situation is making decisions your dignity wouldn't make on its own. That's what bothers me. Because when your ability to pay your bills depends entirely on one employer, then your paycheck can become less of a paycheck and more of a leash. And sometimes it's a very comfortable leash. Good salary, great benefits, retirement, paid leave. But it's still a leash if you're terrified of what happens when somebody takes it away. The problem isn't necessarily your boss. Let's be for real. Here's the twist. This video isn't actually about your boss. Your boss may be absolutely terrible, horrific. I'm going to let you determine that for yourself. But changing bosses doesn't necessarily solve the bigger problem because you can leave boss A, go to company B, and 6 months later discover that boss B has apparently been taking very good lessons from boss A. Now we're right back where we started, right? So eventually, I think we have to ask, what is the actual problem? And I think part of it is a financial dependency, right? Because when someone controls the only income that supports your entire life, their decisions carry enormous weight for you. That's why I became less interested in finding the perfect employer and more interested in learning how to create income that wasn't completely attached to just one job or one person. What if you didn't have to be afraid? Imagine your boss calls you into the office tomorrow. There's restructuring, budget cuts, layoffs, whatever corporate word salad they're serving that day. What happens inside your body? For most people, it's that immediate feeling of fear, right? Because you're not simply losing a job, you're potentially losing your ability to pay for your life. Now imagine the same conversation, but you have something else growing in the background, right? An online income stream, one that's automated. It's your own business, a system you've been learning, something you've been building little by little by little. Maybe it isn't replacing your entire salary right now, but it does exist. And suddenly you're not standing on one financial leg. Honey, that changes absolutely everything. It doesn't make you reckless. It makes you less trapped. This is what I mean by financial freedom. right? When people hear financial freedom, they imagine, mansions and sports cars. That's never been the part that interested me. My definition is much quieter. Freedom is being able to say, this no longer works for me. Freedom is being able to leave. Freedom is being able to take your time deciding what comes next. Freedom is having enough financial breathing room that fear isn't making every decision for you. Freedom is being able to move, to travel, to start over, to spend time with someone you love, or simply wake up on Monday morning without feeling like somebody else owns the next 5 days of your life. That kind of freedom doesn't necessarily require millions, but it does require options. Your time has value. This becomes especially important if, like me, you're over 50. Because money matters, but so does time. And at some point, I stopped looking at my life only in dollars, right? I started looking at it in hours. If I'm working 8 hours, commuting, getting ready, recovering from the day, thinking about work when I'm supposed to be relaxing, how much of my life is this job actually consuming? And how much are they paying me for that life? That's a very different type of calculation, right? We can earn more money. We cannot earn another Tuesday. Once today is gone, it's gone forever. And I don't say that to be dramatic. I say that because I think women in our season of life have earned the right to become very intentional about where our remaining time on this earth goes. So what's the alternative? Well, this is where people sometimes get frustrated. Okay, Z, yeah. I hear you, fine. I don't want my employer controlling everything, but I still need money. Exactly. And guess what? So do I. That's why just quit isn't a financial strategy. Not at all. The better question is, what can I begin building before I need it? That's where the online world became interesting to me. There are systems today that allow ordinary people to learn digital skills, to market online, and to build income without creating a traditional brick and mortar business. Does it require some learning? Yeah. Does it require work? Absolutely. Does everybody automatically succeed? Of course not. But the point is that there are options available today that many of us were never taught even existed. And I think we owe it to ourselves to at least understand them. Don't wait until you're desperate. This is the mistake I really want you to avoid. Don't wait until you've been laid off. Don't wait until you absolutely cannot tolerate your boss another day. Don't wait until your savings are disappearing. Don't wait until you're desperate, because desperation is a terrible, terrible business partner. Take it from one who knows. You make different decisions when you're scared. The best time to build another opportunity is while you still have an option, while the paycheck is still coming, while the bills are being paid, while you have time to learn. Build the lifeboat while you're still on the ship. The question I want to ask, I don't want you leaving this video asking, should I quit my job? That's not the question. I want you asking, what could I build so that my job isn't my only option? That's a completely different conversation. And if you're wondering what kind of system I'm talking about and how somebody actually gets started, that's why I talk about this system that I found and this freedom blueprint. The link is below in the description box, okay? So I simply want you to click on that link, and I want you to go get this free Freedom Blueprint, because the blueprint will show you the system I'm talking about. It's going to show you how it works. It's going to show you what's involved and how it may fit into your goals. Go through it. Understand it. Then you decide for yourself whether it's something that you want to explore or not, because the goal isn't to run away from your boss tomorrow. The goal is to start building enough independence that eventually your boss is simply the person who manages your job, not the person who indirectly controls your life and everything that happens within it. That's a very, very different kind of freedom. And I think it's worth building toward. So, subscribe to the channel if you're in your solo season, or if you find any of this information even remotely interesting to you and you're ready to have more conversations about income, freedom, and creating your next chapter on your own terms. And by all means, face your fear. Go grab the Freedom Blueprint below. And I will see you next time. And before I forget, as always, ladies, HOAS, keep your head on a swivel. Please, when you are out and about, be aware of your surroundings at all times, no matter where you are and who you're with. The days are getting more and more dangerous, and I want all of you safe and protected, okay? And until next time, as always, remember to always keep speaking your truth. I love you so much. Take care.